Do we have similarities? Like, is a puppy in two different celebrities? Like, what is this?
Are you guys kidding me? Those motherfuckers tried to come for Chris?
You're kidding me.
Please. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Zachary Reality, and today we will be chatting about The Bachelorette and Claim to Fame episodes 7. We've been doing this every single week, so we have been doing this for 7 weeks, and we're almost at the end of these two shows. So let's break down tonight's episodes, because I have a lot of thoughts, as I do every week. Before we get into it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel down below because we are so close to hitting 12,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there, like by the end of the week, preferably. Subscribe. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'm so heated about Claim to Fame. Like, what? These motherfuckers tried to come for Chris. Not okay.
I think she pulled my clue.
Literally not okay. Okay. Was like, no. I'm like protective. Oh my gosh. I am rooting for Chris and I'm rooting for Karsyn. Those are my two favorites. Period. If one of them has to win and like they all tried to get rid of Chris this week, no. Nice try, Hugo. Nice try. Okay, I'm gonna put a pause in that because we're gonna talk about the Bachelorette first. So we're in Fiji this week. It's the final 3. We're down to Xiaver, Joey, and Dalton. Why did Aaron B come back? For what? Like, what? When they said Aaron B was coming back, I was like, this is so unnecessary. Like, seriously, we don't need to see Aaron B again. But then it kind of got interesting towards the end of the episode because Charity was like, well, like, I actually do love him. So I'm like, okay, maybe she requested to have him come back. But first up, it is Charity and Xavier's one-on-one date. They're getting all Fijian, getting all cultural, super cute, but Xiaver is having doubts. So he's having some doubts. Like, at this point, it's just like so obvious that Xavier's relationship is so behind the other two anyway. And she was never going to pick him, was she? I mean, she definitely seemed like she liked him, but this was crazy. And this is where Xiaver showed his true colors, his red flags. Not that he's a bad guy, because I do think he's a good guy, but he was not ready for Charity. He was not ready to get engaged. He was trying to get out of there ASAP. So if you guys did not watch the episode, which I'm assuming y'all did, Xiaver told Charity during the night portion of their one-on-one date that he had cheated in the past. He's been unfaithful to his ex-girlfriend that he was with for 2.5 years. About 2 years into the relationship, he cheated multiple times within 5 days.
You're kidding me.
Xiaver. Charity's main thing all season has been she was in a relationship for 6 years. She tolerated cheating and infidelity so many times. She's not going to do that again. She has made that clear since day one to everyone. Did Xiaver not know that that was her #1 red flag? Her biggest insecurity going into this is that she could not find a guy that was going to be completely faithful to her. So not only does he go throughout the entire season without telling her hometowns, everything, he tells her at the last hour.
You're kidding me.
When he's already in Fiji. I mean, was he told by the producers to withhold that information to have a big bomb drop at the end? Fine. He cheated. He made a mistake. He can learn. He can grow, right? No. Because he tells Charity that if he's in that position again, with the boys on vacation, if it's Charity will he stay faithful. Like, he could not say it with a straight face that he was going to be able to be faithful. And maybe he really is so remorseful and regretful that he cheated in the past that he's like worried that he won't be able to get over that, because we do have to look at the other side here. We can't just call Xiaver a cheater and a liar and all those mean things. You know, he did bad things. We're mad at him. Charity was mad too. I loved seeing Charity mad. I was like, yes, Charity, know your worth, set your boundaries, make it clear what you want, Charity. The thing is, if Xiaver is struggling with forgiving himself for cheating, what if he was in love with that person and he let himself down when he cheated? Cheating is not the answer. So if you're in a relationship, I know it's hard to leave, but if you're having doubts, you have to communicate, break up, and say something. You can't cheat. I get everyone makes mistakes. We all get drunk. But this does not seem like a drunk thing. Xiaver made a mistake and he has not forgiven himself for it. He needs to go to therapy. And I think that he should go to Bachelor in Paradise too, and then get more therapy after that. I wonder if he went. Do you guys think he went to Paradise? Just, you know, still waiting for that Bachelor in Paradise cast list. Might be the only one still waiting. I say it every video. But yeah, I think he just kind of dug himself into a hole. I'm not surprised that Charity sent him home. I think he was trying to finagle the situation. I don't think he was being completely honest. It's probably so hard for him to admit that he was a cheater on national TV. Like, that's embarrassing for him. But also, I feel like it was empowering and like he can set an example. And like, honestly, I'm rooting for Xiaver and I want to hear what he says at the Men Tell All next week. Did you guys see that trailer? Brayden with the earrings is back, and Tanner, and who else? I don't know. Anyone? Sean. The trailer looked okay. I mean, Charity looks beautiful. Next week will be Men Tell All. We'll meet Jerry, the Golden Bachelor. Can't wait to meet him. Also, is my mom on the season? Mom, you haven't texted me in days. Is she on the Golden Bachelor? Guys, my mom might be there. Just saying. Marilyn and Gary. Do you guys ship it? Okay, well, she sent Xiaver home. We're not going to miss him, but we do wish him the best. Then she goes on an ATV date with Joey. The ATVs didn't work somehow. Joey needs a haircut, right? Like, can he get a haircut? It's getting really long and it's like making him less cute every week because his hair is just getting bushier and bushier. And it makes him look like younger. And it's just like, that's like the look like the 8th graders have, that kind of hair. Like, Joey's hair needs to go. So they go on an ATV date. Then they go into a waterfall. They're making out, super heavy, super intimate. They talk about the uncle of it all, Uncle Joe. They actually squashed the beef about Uncle Joe saying that Joey wasn't super comfortable when Charity was there on the tennis date. The reason he said he wasn't super comfortable is because it was a lot of pressure. He was trying to please Charity. He wanted to make her comfortable. He was just nervous. I think Uncle Joe went a little bit too hard on him last week. I'm changing my mind. We heard Joey's side. I'm back to being Team Joey. Last week, I was honestly Team Uncle Joe, but this week I was like, all right, Uncle Joe, you were a little tough, a little protective, but it's fine. Joey, he's so cute, right? And Charity is so infatuated by him. And I don't think that she like really loves him the way she loves Dutton, because with Dutton, she is like so in love and like they're so comfortable together. But with Joey, I feel like she's infatuated by him and she's in love with the idea of him. And I really think that this storyline that started this week, it kind of started last week when we saw Joey's first red flags, like to the audience. This week, Joey was talking about his insecurities about like feeling that he has to be perfect all the time because like he is kind of perfect. Like, look at him. He like seems like the most likable guy. He's so handsome. He's probably smart in school. Like, I feel like he's just had a lot of people just like always love being around his energy. He was explaining during the dinner portion of the date. So he just feels like he always has to be like that likable guy because that's what people are expecting of him. Isn't it so hard to be like so perfect? Yeah, but like for Joey, it is. And honestly, I kind of get it. Myself. So they say that they're in love with each other. They sleep together. They wake up in the morning and it still feels like she is more into him than he is into her. And I've been saying that all season. He is just, maybe he's shy with the cameras, but the way he's kissing her, he's just not putting in all his effort. And in the morning, it was just like, I feel like he wants to appease her. Remember how his uncle said he was a people pleaser? Joey's such a nice guy and that might be his detriment. Next week or the week after when the finale is here, oh, and I wanted to say something about that. Joey's going to get heartbroken by Charity. It's going to be so dramatic. I feel like I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it'll give us something to talk about. It'll be as big as like maybe Katie and Greg when there was just like everyone was on one side, you know, one side or the other. I feel like Joey and Charity's breakup is going to be insane. Insane, drives me insane. Also, what I wanted to say about the finales is that we know the Bachelorette finale is August 21st, and we know the Claim to Fame finale is August 28th. So I almost wonder if there'll be no episode the 21st of Claim to Fame because the Bachelorette will be a 3-hour finale. And that's why Claim to Fame's finale is the week after. So just letting you guys know, that's what I think is happening. So then at the end, Aaron B comes back. Oh yeah, we have to talk about Dalton's date. So his date was perfect. Like literally everything went well. He's obviously really tall. They went jet skiing and I was wondering why they didn't go together. Maybe because he's so tall, but like, why didn't they go on the same jet ski? Right? Did anyone think that was weird? Usually like when you're dating someone, you like want to go on the jet ski with them and it's like all cute and like fun. Yeah, it might be because he's too tall. But Dalton said the funniest thing is that he didn't watch the show. He had no idea until a couple weeks ago he was going to propose at this. And then he was like, oh, I'm with it. Like it was so organic. And he kept saying the universe wants them to be together. And yes, this makes sense. This makes sense. This makes sense. The universe literally wants them to be together. I ship it. I'm here for it. They're totally getting engaged. Also, Charity said that she loved his family. Remember his family? They were so fun. I love the family. And I can't wait to see his family at After the Final Rose. They say they love each other. They have an overnight date. It's easy and it's comfortable. That's her winner pick. Like, it's just so obvious, right? So Aaron B comes back. She said she was falling in love with Aaron B. Honestly, he kind of seems like, bruh, like, why are you coming back? For more camera time? Because the producers told you to come back so you can set up a storyline for Paradise, for ratings. It's just unnecessary. Like, it was like the key line when Charity was like, I don't know if I'm making the right decision. And that's what prompted him to fly all the way back to Fiji. And then the producers ask him to ask the hotel people like what room she's in, and he has to like find her. Oh my God, so set up, so boring. Sorry, Aaron B, but like, is he gonna go to the rose ceremony and then she's gonna send him home with the rose ceremony? Like, for just make the show shorter. Do you really have that many ads and commercials and promos? I guess you make that this much money you must make off ABC to drag these episodes to 2 hours when they could be 1 hour. I'm just saying.
You're kidding me.
So yeah, Aaron B is gonna go home and it's gonna be Joey and Dalton. And then, you know, Joey's gonna get broken up with, Dalton's gonna propose, and they're gonna be happy, and that's what's gonna happen. Okay. Let's get into claim to fame. So leave your thoughts below on the Bachelorette down below. Let me know your thoughts on everything I said in the comments down below. And if you guys have been watching for all 7 recaps for the last 7 weeks, comment down below the number 7. Or if you only watch like 6 or 5, comment down below the number 6 or 5. Just let me know how many of the recaps you guys have watched. It's easy. You can be signed into your Gmail. You just leave me a comment. You give it a thumbs up and it's great. Okay, so claim to fame. I was so heated that they tried to come for Chris, my favorite. So I feel like the starting point of the episode was really about Gabriel and Chris. So Gabriel and Chris are the 2 powerhouses of this season. And I honestly thought that one of them was going to go home this week. But the preview made me know that Hugo was going home because I saw that Hugo was the guesser because the preview showed that Hugo was the guesser. So I was like, wait, Hugo hasn't guessed all season. So I kind of knew that Hugo was going to be the guesser. And I also just like had a feeling he was going to get it wrong with Chris. So I'm a little upset with the editors for making that obvious because that kind of ruined the episode for me because I knew in the back of my head that Hugo was going to be the guesser all episode. So coming attractions are really frustrating sometimes. I don't know if you guys can just do better about that in the next time, but Gabriel and Chris are the 2 main players and it kind of felt like they were squaring up. Their alliance was being tested for the first time, but they still had loyalty to each other, but they were starting to like, you know, see what it was like to potentially want to turn on each other because they had no choice left because it's the final 6. You know, they've been working together all season. They really remind me of like JT and Steven from Survivor and like Wendell and Dom from Survivor. Just like a strong power bro duo.
I'm dead serious.
Also, I'm like, this is Karsyn's effing season. This is Karsyn's effing season. Karsyn is such a bad bitch. She literally is my number 2 that I'm rooting for below Chris. And I love Karsyn and seeing her story arc every week. And she has gotten so much more confident. Is her uncle or relative even a NASCAR driver? I don't even know. I don't want to know. But Karsyn, you just keep eating these bitches up because I'm living for Queen Karsyn. So there is a challenge and Gabriel picked the teams because he had immunity or whatever from last week. And he wanted to team up with Chris, which I thought was an interesting move, which I think is also the best move because clearly him and Chris are the best at the challenges. Then he teamed up Monet and Hugo, who did not do good at the challenge. They're like the misfits. And like, I love Monet and I love Hugo, but I mean, neither of them have a chance to win. Obviously, we know Hugo went home, but like Monet, she's been in it, but like, she's just not taking over as like the most dominant person there. Like, she really is starting to be a floater, but she's still playing the game. Stop. I love her. And then JR and Karsyn, who almost beat them in the challenge, but they didn't. So now, since Gabriel and Chris won the challenge, they're basically going to decide who they want to be in the bottom 2. And Gabriel said immediately that he wanted it to be Hugo. And Chris was kind of debating who he wanted it to be, but he ultimately chose to put himself in the bottom 2, which I think was a smart move. And I appreciate the risk. I think Chris just like was more comfortable with being the guesser than having someone guess him. And this week it was clear that everyone in the house has kind of made an alliance to get rid of Chris. You know, Hugo, JR, Karsyn, and Monet all have kind of formed a 4 alliance and they're trying to bring in Gabriel. It just seems like everyone knows that Chris is the biggest threat. So they want to get rid of Chris. Nice try. Nice try. So he put himself up after debating. He got Gabriel's clue and Gabriel kind of told us in the confessional that it's Nick Cannon because there's so many kids. You kind of would think that Chris would know since he's been so smart all season, but it's like right in front of him. And he told Karsyn, and Karsyn hasn't figured it out yet, but they'll probably figure it out next week. You just can't write this show. This is such a good season. I didn't even watch season 1 yet, as I told you guys, but I bet you that this is better than season 1. Like, you cannot write this. Like, this producing every single week is just like so good. And I really think that Chris is gonna win. Has to win. He's getting the story arc. But what if it's like Gabriel? So they all think that Chris is related to Elton John. It was Hugo's idea. So this is where Hugo got the karma, because Hugo did say in his confessional, Hugo was like, if it's right, I want to be the one. And honestly, like, I want to get credit for it. And Hugo, you got what you asked for. You didn't get it right. So they all voted for Hugo, hoping that they would guess Chris's relative correctly as Elton John because of the jacket, the glasses, the Vegas residency. And it's not a far guess. They're getting closer. I loved Chris's scene too at the end when he closed out the episode and he was like being all Elton Johnny. Love. So Hugo guessed wrong, and Hugo's relative was revealed as Jimmy Carter, the 39th president of the United States. How many presidents can you guys name? George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Quincy Adams, James Madison, Zachary Taylor, because my name's Zachary, he's the 13th president, Theodore Roosevelt, Ronald Reagan, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, not George Clooney, Bill Clinton. I mean, how many presidents can you guys name in the comments down below? Jimmy Carter, I definitely remember learning a little bit about him during social studies. And Hugo I was hoping to get like a video package, but Hugo did say that he was in hospice, which was so sad. But Hugo was gloating about his grandpa. So his mom's dad is Jimmy Carter, the 39th president. He was like, oh my God, my grandpa, I love him so much. He's everything. He believes in equality. He recently was put into hospice because he's so sick, and Hugo promises to keep his legacy alive. Oh my God, I have chills. I had chills. Literally, like, guys, like, I actually had chills. Like, it was so emotional. And that was the end of Hugo. Which honestly, Hugo, like, yeah, you put yourself out there. You tried to take down Chris. Chris was blindsided that the whole house kind of maneuvered around him. So he's going to be coming in with vengeance next week. But I love Chris and Karsyn's alliance, and I wonder what's going to happen with that. I think that Chris and Gabriel's alliance is tight, and then Gabriel's close with Monet, and then JR is close with pretty much everyone except for Chris. So, because he was really close with Olivia, who we interviewed last week. So you guys can go check out my interview with Olivia if you missed it last week on my channel.
I mean, I don't even know who Jeff Gordon is.
Yeah.
I'd never heard that name before, but like JR and I were very close, and he was like very certain it was Jeff Gordon. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with that.
Let's see if we talk to Hugo tomorrow or this week. I'll keep you guys posted on that. Thank you all so much for watching this episode 7 recap. Really hope you guys are enjoying and watching till the end, and like just like really enjoying the build up each week as we like watch together, and like we're kind of in the dark about how this is all gonna go. So I want to hear your comments down below on The Bachelorette and Claim to Fame, and do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. Let's get to 12,000 subscribers, guys, by the end of the week. We can do it. I need your help. Okay, take care, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.